is me, Ruowen Huang. Before I begin, let me first introduce myself. My name is Ruowen Huang. I'm an author, spirit coach, and also a psychic. Today I want to talk about darkness test. Be honest with you, I actually don't know how to translate this properly, but I settle for this because I think it kind of makes sense to me. Why I'm mentioning darkness test, I don't know about other religions, but I actually do. In some form or some way, people know once you step onto the spiritual journey, you will go through a period of time like you feel you are being tested. Tested either by devil, by evil spirits, or by people around you. Disregard whatever, is a period of time that you will be confronted with the dark side in you. Just imagine that like a Star Wars, if I can make sense to you. So basically, it's like Jedi and the Dark Force are fighting one another. So basically what I'm here to say is once you step onto the spiritual journey, and if you're still wondering what spiritual journey is, it's actually a journey like you slowly discover who you are and what you are, or what you are, the purpose of your life or calling or whatever that is. And through this process, you will be confronting the dark side in you. In Buddhism, that's just concluded one religion, so easier for me to describe it. In Buddhism, there are different level of darkness tests. So each test would basically testing you. Well, in Buddhism, they believe they're using the darkness test, which they call evil or bad spirits, to test you to see if you are strong enough to withstand your spiritual journey in order to evolve into a god, basically like this, right? So through the years of my spiritual journey, many of you would like to know what it is and how it's like, and have I gone through it. The reality is I do, like everybody else, and which I also observe many spiritual people out there. It's almost a must. Like, you will eventually understand why it's a must for all of us, not just spiritual people, all of us, to deal with it in order to achieve that who you really are. In a very early stage, I mentioned there are different kind of devil. That the one like they are devil based on their look, they're very ugly and things like that. They often come and threaten you. They're gonna kill you, murder you, hurt your family, or blah 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 blah. There are second kind of devil who you may not be able to identify whether they are God or devil, because they all come to you saying they're gonna help you. So, and then there are third kind of devil, you really cannot tell. But you really cannot tell, since they can change whatever appearance they want you to see they are, unless you are very clear of who you really are and understand yourself is very easily to be attracted, or is very easily manipulated at that period of time. So let's base on if you can really see them. Based on if you really can see them, then that might make sense to you. But if you don't see them, you would say, well, I don't see them, I don't get tested, right? So people who do not see devil, they won't get tested, right? I wish I can say yes. The reality is no. Unfortunately, no. Even though they don't come to you as a spirit form, they do appeal to you in so many different forms. Understand, no matter what you are in this life in order to evolve to a better spirit. So whether you are a psychic or not a psychic, the reality is you will most likely be challenged into many different things in order to evolve to the next stage. But so when I look back, which is quite a while back, for me to conclude the big three category for you guys, then you will kind of understand why it's a must for your spiritual journey. For the first type of devil who come to you, who always look scary, often threat you, say how they gonna damage, kill you, hurt your life, destroy you, or blah, 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 blah. They have no way, they can somewhat change their shape, but they can quite really. They don't really have that skill yet. When those kind of energy are around you, you will be confronted with your very first darkness test, which is called fear. Your fear. Yes, at this time, all your fear will start surfacing out. So, the fear to die, the fear that no one loves you, the fear that you are not good enough, the fear of how everybody's gonna judge me. Your very first test of the darkness test is called fear test. That is, in your life, whether you can see or cannot see, you will be confronted constantly with something that you are scared of. You feel like you constantly get pushed to the edge or pushed to the cliff, and then confront with your own fear. Let me say that again. In order for the spirit to evolve, you may or may not have to see a devil, but you will be confronted with the test that is no different from a psychic would do. Understand, we not only got threatened by a real devil, we also had to deal with the fear that exists or controlling our life. So with the first kind of devil, you happen to see them, they're very good at manipulating your fear. They will very likely use what you're afraid the most. If you don't do this, I will make sure nobody love you, you will be abandoned, you will be all alone, you would die, your loved one would die, etc. This is one way of pushing yourself. I mean, most of people are afraid, but then this is also a stage to push your spirit to get strong and then to have faith in yourself. Understand, at the beginning of the journey, you will most likely experience all the good things. All the goodie, all the candy, all the cookie, all that, and then you believe the spiritual journey is such a wonderful path. There is a reason for that, because if you don't have a taste of that, unlikely you will want to move on. What is there for me? There's nothing there for me. My life is so shitty. Why do I want to move on, right? So that's why you will see when the people who are first spiritually awakening or enlightened, they are all about love and light, and then all about love and life, and then you will assume they're gonna be like that forever. Reality is no. They most likely will be constantly get challenging into the life test. That is, whether it's spiritual or not spiritual, they will be confronted with all their fear, no different from other people. So that would be your first stage of your darkness test. Then you get into the second. Once you manage it, you're like, you know what? I handle one after the other. I'm always confronting my fear, no problem. One after the other. Eventually, you gain this muscle called strength. You fear will always keep coming. And not like they're going to stop. I'm being very honest with you. They don't seem to stop, but you just gain a muscle to cope with it. So while you gain that muscle, then comes the second one. The second one, I don't really have a Chinese for it, but then the best way I can come up with is, I don't have an English for you guys. So the best way I can come up with is like a stubbornness, or the insist, or like how your life is right and wrong. If you're not, I really don't have the best way to say it, but if I can find a word for it, I will attach it later. So basically, the closest word I can come up with is stubbornness. Like your world is so clearly identified as right or wrong, black or white. You will often hear the voice seems to tell you to take side. Take side. My side is better. Listen to me. Do this for me. I will do this for you. It almost sounds like a trait, but then it all starts with manipulating your strong belief. And when I talk about strong belief, this is something like most of people got stuck with. This is a moment I'm very often confronted myself. or this is a skill I learned at that very long period of time, is maybe I'm wrong. What if what if they are right? What if I'm wrong? At my beginning of my journey, I truly believe what I discover, what I learn are valid, and which I believe is the same for many of you. When you first get into this journey, you start to realize God is always there for you. God is always open the door for you, or you believe some epiphany, you believe some, like true meaning of a religions. Very often I realize when people discover something, they seem to hang on to that. They hang on to it so much, they're so eager to convert everybody else to be the same because they truly believe I finally find the truth of it. Therefore, I want everybody to see that as well. So there will be period of time you trying really hard, debating after debate, trying to convert one after the other, really try to recruit as many people as you can to believe what you believe, right? This is the time I realized why the second stage, the devil, they can almost convert to God, but had a taste that is very different. That is, their life, their world exists very clearly black and white. They make you believe there's only black or white, yes or no answer. And once you are truly believing that, you are hanging on to that belief so strongly or cling on to that belief so strongly, you then give them power to manipulate you. So that's what the moment I start to realize. I'm not saying anyone, me too. I used to be very debative. I used to be believing I need to make people see where my point is, to where I am like, sure, you see my point, you don't see my point, you don't see my point, that's okay, because I could be wrong, So what I'm saying is what really helped me out of that and what really helped me to not be manipulated by those kind of spirits is not to be hang on to any idea. That is, any idea can be wrong, any idea can be right. So my job is I will share, but whether people agree or not agree, that's okay. And when people point finger and say you are so full of it, and maybe they are right. You know what I mean? So when you start accepting the world is full of gray instead of black or white, you start to realize the devil and these spirits or dark force, whatever you call it, no longer have ability to manipulate you because they got nothing to hang on to you or nothing to make you believe. Listen to them. They are evil. You are the right one. You have to listen to me. You have to do this. This is the right thing to do. They no longer will have the power over you. So as I say, challenge will come to you over and over. It's not necessarily just from the evil spirits. Very often it will come from all over the place. It could be your preference of the superstar, your preference of the political party, your preference of the environmental belief, your preference of something. Sure, we all have different kind of preference, but the reality is once you really hang on to something, then you start creating this energy, which I still don't have word for it. Stubbornness, insistence, resistance. I actually don't, I give up. You will actually create this strong and sometimes strong belief will make us clouded our mind and not really able to make the right decision in a neutral mind. So that is how the darkness spirits would got to manipulate you. So if you overcome this, great, that's your stage 2. Then you gain some muscle. Yes, you will gain some muscle. Does that mean you will stop? No, but you will gain some muscle. That is, when it comes again, you will be able to tell. You're like, I have that taste before. I taste that before. I know what is this about, right? So after your first one, fear, after your second one, your black and white world, and you will get pushed to the third one, which is also very hard for a lot of spiritual people out there who's looking for spiritual enlightenment or involvement. That is called desire. This is the moment all the God look like devil, look like God. And then I'm not joking, they can really look like God. So if you really a psychic, I will say you almost cannot tell the difference. I mean, they will smile at you just like God did. They will comfort you just like God did. They will do anything that you think God should do. If you can see them, I'm telling you, they look nothing different from God. So you're like, okay, now you're confused the heck out of me. If they look all like God, how do I know? You do know, because that very fine taste that you already gain your muscle for the level 1, level 2, now to level 3, there's a continuously of a taste, very fine hint taste. You just so trained, you just know. So even they look the same, smell the same, talk the same, they just a taste that just simply different. At this time, the way they talk is no different. I'm gonna make your life better. What you want happiness, I'm gonna make you happiness. Do as what I say. Believe in me, you will get that. You will do that. I will, don't worry about anything else. I will take care of everything for you. I will. See, it does sound like God, right? But you know where I'm going about with it. On the stage 3 of your darkness test, your desire will constantly get put on the table for the test. If you have desire for love, you have desire for power, you have desire for money, you have the desire for something, it will be continuously put on the test for it. Does that mean you will not get it? No, most likely you will. It's like a bait. You will get tempted, and little by little, and then eventually lose yourself, eventually forget who you are. Understand this is also a process of learning. So at this stage, from my past experience, I do realize the best way to stay on the track, is constantly come back and ask yourself, what's my intention? Like, you really need to have a strong intention. Like, you have to be aware what you're doing. Otherwise, anything can manipulate you. Any temptation can manipulate you. If you are not a person who self-reflect all the time, come back and ask yourself, is this what I want? Is this why I'm doing this? Is this why? Very likely you will lose yourself. And I did see people get lost in there, and I don't know, myself get lost in there. I just don't know. But being honest with you, I do realize, see, this is not even the final test of the dark side yet. There is a hard one yet to come. So, but as for me, I'm being very honest with you. When I first have to experience this, I thought the best way to overcome this darkness test is not to have evil thought, not to have bad thought. But, we all know, which I mentioned so many times, the more you try to resist, the more you will go into that side. So the more you try not to have a dark thought, the more you will have dark thought in your head. It's only through going through this whole process, and if you ask me how long does that take, honestly, it's a really long time. It's not like 1 or 2 months. Oh, yay, great, I'm graduate. No, the reality is you may have very intense, test thrown upon you, somewhere lengthy to 1 year to 3, 4, 5 years. It really depends on how you can get yourself out of it. Even when you thought you graduate and then you thought you master all the things you had to master, you will still get confronted by all those 3, one or the other, just to make sure you really got it. So, at where I am right now, I come to the conclusion, believe it, this is going to be a lifelong task. It's just going to be lifelong. Yeah, sure, why not? But, this is when you have to enter the fourth one. You have to learn to live with your dark side. Then you'll be able to find a balance with it. So anyway, just a not quick one, obviously, a super long one, to roughly introducing the darkness test that many of you are wondering about. I guess you're wondering because you're going through it, or you are in it, or you just passed it. I don't know. But if many of you are interested in spiritual journey, do expect this is going to happen sometime in the future, or because that's why, listen to me, I'm not even joking. This whole spiritual journey, really, step one, learn to love yourself. It's very strong, very strong. Once you figure out how to love yourself, step two, please learn to overcome your fear. You're gonna need it. You will need it. I'm not even joking about it. So anyway, hope that helped you guys to get prepared a little bit. So again, if you like what I'm doing, you can always join me live on Facebook, or go to subscribe my YouTube channel. Don't forget to watch an ad to contribute to my coffee cup, and my website, ruowen.com. Till then, next time. Bye.